Introduction. Are you curious about the Buddha of the future, the one who will come to guide humanity toward peace, compassion, and enlightenment? Then you're in the right place. In today's video, we will uncover the profound mystery of Maitreya Buddha, the future Buddha who will descend to earth when the world is ready for a new spiritual awakening. The prophecy of Maitreya speaks of a time when he will return to heal the world and teach the Dharma once again, leading all beings to freedom from suffering. This story is filled with hope and inspiration, and we promise that by the end of this video, you will feel uplifted and empowered. Stay with us until the end for a special message about Amitabha, the Buddha of infinite light. The legend of Maitreya Buddha comes from Buddhist texts that describe a time in the distant future when the current teachings of the Buddha, known as the Dharma, will be forgotten. During this time, the world will face immense suffering and chaos. But when humanity is ready, a new Buddha will emerge to bring back the Dharma and guide all beings toward spiritual liberation. This future Buddha is Maitreya, often called the Buddha of loving kindness. Maitreya's name, which means loving one, reflects his core mission: to spread universal compassion and help humanity return to a path of kindness, harmony, and peace. According to Buddhist tradition, Maitreya is currently residing in Tushita heaven, awaiting the right moment to descend to earth. His arrival will mark a turning point in human history, as he will help people remember the forgotten teachings of the Buddha and lead them toward enlightenment. Buddhist scriptures tell us that Maitreya will be born in a time when the Dharma is no longer practiced and people will have lost their way. He will be born into a family that teaches love and kindness, and from a young age, he will show signs of his great spiritual power. It is said that, just like Siddhartha Gautama, Maitreya will leave his life of comfort to search for the truth and ultimately attain enlightenment under a great tree. One of the key symbols associated with Maitreya is the Naga tree, under which he is prophesied to gain enlightenment. Just as Siddhartha sat under the Bodhi tree and became the Buddha Shakyamuni, Maitreya's enlightenment under the Naga tree will signal his awakening as the future Buddha. His teachings will renew the world and remind people of the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path, the core teachings that lead to freedom from suffering. Maitreya is often depicted in Buddhist art as sitting on a throne, waiting patiently for the right time to return. This image symbolizes his readiness to descend into our world, not as a distant figure, but as one who is filled with love and compassion for all beings. His mission is to help humanity rediscover the path to inner peace, and he will use the power of loving kindness to overcome ignorance, anger, and suffering. The arrival of Maitreya is a message of hope for the future. While the world may seem filled with conflict and despair at times, the prophecy of Maitreya reminds us that compassion and kindness will always prevail. His return will be a time of great renewal, where spiritual practices will once again flourish, and people will live in harmony with each other and the natural world. Maitreya's teachings will be centered on the importance of compassion, much like those of Buddha Shakyamuni. He will emphasize the need for people to care for one another, to love without conditions, and to work together for the good of all beings. His message will resonate with those who seek to heal the world through acts of kindness and mindfulness. Just like in the time of the Buddha Shakyamuni, Maitreya will guide his followers toward the realization that true happiness cannot be found in material wealth or fleeting pleasures. Instead, he will teach that lasting peace comes from within, from living a life of mindfulness and compassion. His teachings will offer a roadmap for those who are ready to awaken to a higher state of consciousness. One of the most powerful aspects of Maitreya's prophecy is the idea that his coming depends on the spiritual readiness of humanity. Unlike other religious figures who arrive without regard for human conditions, Maitreya will only come when enough people are ready to embrace his message of love and peace. This means that we each have a role to play in preparing for Maitreya's arrival. In Buddhist tradition, practicing compassion and mindfulness today can bring us closer to Maitreya. When we choose kindness over anger, patience over frustration, and love over fear, we are walking the path that Maitreya will one day lead us on. In this way, we are already preparing for his arrival, creating the conditions that will allow him to descend to earth and bring the Dharma back to life. As the Buddha of the future, Maitreya's arrival is not just a promise for the distant future, but a call to action for us today. His teachings encourage us to actively participate in the creation of a world where kindness and compassion are the guiding principles. By living in harmony with one another and nurturing a sense of love for all beings, we are actively helping to usher in the age of Maitreya. One of the most inspiring aspects of Maitreya's prophecy is the optimism it brings. In a world that sometimes feels divided and disconnected, the belief in Maitreya's return offers a vision of a future where harmony, love, and understanding prevail. This vision can give us the strength to face challenges with hope, knowing that we are working toward a brighter and more peaceful future. Maitreya's story teaches us that we don't have to wait for the future Buddha to arrive to start making positive changes in our own lives. His teachings remind us that love, compassion, and mindfulness are powerful tools that we can use today to improve our own lives and the lives of those around us. By embracing these teachings, we are already walking the path that Maitreya will one day teach. Buddhist texts say that when Maitreya arrives, he will teach the true Dharma, which will help all beings find freedom from suffering. His message will be one of simplicity and clarity, aimed at helping people reconnect with the essential truths of existence. His teachings will focus on the nature of suffering, the impermanence of all things, and the power of compassion as a path to enlightenment. Maitreya's arrival will not only bring about a spiritual renewal, but also a time of great peace and prosperity. It is said that the world will flourish under his guidance, and people will live in harmony with each other and the natural world. This vision of a peaceful future gives hope to those who seek a world where kindness and understanding reign supreme. Maitreya's story is often seen as a metaphor for personal transformation. Just as Maitreya will help humanity rediscover the Dharma, we too can rediscover the path of mindfulness and compassion in our own lives. His teachings encourage us to look within ourselves for the strength to overcome suffering and to find peace by living in harmony with the world around us. It is important to remember that Maitreya's prophecy is not just about the future, it is about how we live today. By practicing compassion, kindness, and mindfulness in our daily lives, we are already embodying the spirit of Maitreya. We are preparing the way for his return, creating a world where his teachings of love and peace can thrive. In a world that often feels chaotic, the prophecy of Maitreya offers a message of hope and renewal. It reminds us that no matter how difficult things may seem, there is always the potential for a brighter future, one where compassion and wisdom prevail. By working together and embracing the teachings of love and kindness, we can create the conditions for Maitreya's arrival and the spiritual awakening that will follow. As we reflect on the story of Maitreya, we are reminded that his message is one of timeless wisdom. The future Buddha's teachings offer us a path to inner peace, a way to transcend suffering, and a vision of a world filled with compassion and understanding. Whether we are waiting for Maitreya's return or already living his teachings in our daily lives, his story serves as a powerful reminder of the potential we all have to create a world filled with love and peace. Conclusion. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the story of Maitreya Buddha, the future Buddha of compassion and peace. His prophecy is a reminder that hope is always on the horizon and that we have the power to bring about positive change in our own lives and the world around us. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Let's aim for 5,000 likes, and I'll create a special video on Amitabha, the Buddha of infinite light. Stay tuned for more spiritual content, and together, let's walk the path of kindness and compassion.